Dear students, welcome to the course Psychology and Guidance in Education. Today we will discuss about classroom management. These are objectives of the lesson. By the time students have completed this course, they should be able to describe the concept of classroom management, explain how to manage the classroom as well as methods of controlling the classroom. Let's see what is classroom management. Classroom management is a process by which teachers and schools create and maintain appropriate behavior of students in appropriate classroom setting. Its purpose is to enhance behavior and increase students' engagement. Classroom management principles work across almost all subject areas and grade levels. Classroom management is a way of organizing resources and people so that teaching and learning can process in an efficient and safe manner. These are general principles of effective classroom management. Getting off a good start, organization of classroom, establishment of rules and principles, preparation of lesson, use of softer voice, and be a good communicator and facilitator. It produces positive outcomes for students. Chaotic classroom environment are a large issue for teachers and it contributes to high teacher stress. So the first principle of effective classroom management is meet and greet. Engagement begins the moment students cross the classroom threshold. Begin each classroom period with a positive attitude and high expectations. Come to class on time and show respect for everyone. Greet students by calling their names and respond appropriately with caring attitudes. Learn students' names as quickly as possible. Establish order in the class. Before students arrive, keep classroom arranged that is approachable for both students and teachers. Similarly, classroom posters contain rules, values, and all other instructions and commands to be followed. Organize your lessons in all aspects. Lecture may include activities, discussions, time for questioning, practice, and review. Keep high traffic areas free of congestion. Careful and appropriate use of physical space available in the classroom can positively affect teacher and student attitudes and propagate holistic learning and development of students. Be sure students can be seen easily by teacher. Classroom routines include how students enter the room, what they do immediately, room arrangement, when and how students' movement is permitted. Let's watch a video for seating arrangements in classroom.
Classroom seating arrangement styles. Numerous seating arrangement styles are available to educators. The first style arrangement is called the traditional. You'll see this arrangement from kindergarten all the way up to college level classes. The teacher's desk is located in the front of the room. The desks are arranged in simple rows and columns, and students are facing the teacher and the whiteboard. The teachers move up and down the rows of the desks. Students are able to work independently as this arrangement isn't suited for group work. Use this arrangement when giving your students exams and other types of assessments. Teachers are able to keep an eye on all students. Teachers mostly use direct instruction, which can lead to student boredom if used too often. So to summarize, it's good for staying on task, great for giving exams, teachers easily supervise students, but it is not student-centered, and that can lead to less paying attention. Next up is the horseshoe arrangement. Students are arranged in a U shape, hence the name. and facing toward one another. The teacher can stand in the middle of the room and become the main point of attention. Teachers can sort of bounce around the room to get to any student. The arrangement is much more suited for discussions as opposed to the traditional model. The open space is a place for presenters to take center stage and engage with the audience. The open space and use it for activities and to get students moving. Students can easily share materials with one another and help each other out. On the other hand, this often leads to students copying one another's work. The horseshoe arrangement is good for discussion forums. Students can take center stage. Teachers can easily get to the students. The space can be used for kinesthetic activities, but students often copy each other's work. Now let's move on to the third seating arrangement, which is small grouping. This is sometimes called group pods. Here the teacher's desk is usually located in front of the room. The student desks are situated in groups of 4, although other variations are possible. The teacher can move about freely and facilitate group learning that's usually taking place. Small groups allow for cooperative learning and students can discuss project plans, and they can work together as a functioning unit to develop teamwork skills. As the students are working on their projects, the teacher can walk around the room and facilitate learning. Some downsides include the room getting a little too noisy. And with group work, there's usually one person in the group that doesn't put their share of effort. So to summarize, the small group arrangement is great to build teamwork, student discussions, and doing projects, but it can get loud and not all students will contribute equally. The next classroom arrangement style is the runway. The teacher's desk is usually in the corner, students facing one another. This creates a large space in the middle of the room. Teachers will stand in the middle and bounce back and forth from student to student. The runway is most often used when teachers are setting up a classroom debate. Each side of the runway will have their own argument. Other times, teachers can use the open space to perform demonstrations for students. This arrangement does lead to students shouting across the room. So to summarize here, the runway is great for political debates. Students can bounce ideas off one another. However, it does get loud, and students on the ends of the rows often feel isolated. The next arrangement style is called paired groupings, although many other names exist, such as paired pods. The teacher's desk is located in the corner or front of the room. The desks are arranged in groups of 2, and they're facing the front of the classroom. Now when it comes to assigning student pairs, there are different ways teachers can go. A teacher's movement isn't as hindered as the traditional arrangement, but not as free as a small group arrangement. Peer tutoring is the most obvious reason to utilize this seating style. Be sure each student understands their role and responsibilities. Other reasons for this set is the famous think, pair, share. Some schools use this arrangement for lab partners, the school lacks lab tables. So to summarize, it's great for peer tutoring where gifted students can pair with struggling students, works well for lab partners if tables aren't available, and it does create some space. Now we move on to our last classroom arrangement style, the round table. The desks form a circle with an open space in the middle. The desks are facing each other to increase face-to-face interaction. One way to make use of the round table is for ice-breaking activities. As a teacher, you may want to introduce yourself to the class and then have the class introduce themselves. The best thing about the round table is that all students feel like they are part of the group. So to summarize, it's best for creating inclusivity among students, facilitating communication, classroom discussions, and having introduction of members. However, it is limited to discussion activities and shy students often feel exposed.
In this video, you have quickly seen the seating arrangements. You have seen 6 types of seating arrangements: traditional, U-shaped, small group, the runway, paired group, and round table. You have seen benefits as well as drawbacks of these types of seating arrangement styles. Use softer voice. As a teacher, use polite speech. It has great impact on your students. Use non-verbal actions to show you are listening. Eye contact, facial expression, gestures, and the way you carry yourself is of great importance in managing the classroom. Learn how to be an active listener. Be attentive because your students are listening to you very vigilantly. Students really want to listen what you are saying. Use encouraging words to show you are listening. And praise for students' work. You can use the words like right, that's nice, good job, excellent, well done, tell me more. So these type of words can be used to motivate the students. Be active facilitator. Come to class prepared with lessons as facilitator. Use appropriate methods and materials to facilitate students. Develop close and caring attitude towards students and avoid doing friendships with students. Be free to walk in the room so that every student is accessible and avoid turning back to the class. Establish classroom rules and expectations. In your opinion, what is an effectively managed classroom? An effectively managed classroom is one that runs smoothly, with minimal confusion and maximizes opportunities for students' learning. It may be possible if you communicate your expectations to students. Students students feel reluctant to follow it. So the way you communicate your expectations should be very impressive and effective. For this purpose, you may use rewards. Reward the student having good behavior, both individually as well as in groups. Rewards can be given on good work of student. If student is good in academics and is showing good behavior, then rewards can be given. So it can be given in groups as well as to individual student. Celebrate accomplishments in classroom. Let's watch a video and see how rules can be taught to students of early years. In this video, you will watch 4 rules communicated to students. So let's see the way of communicating.
Rules, rules of the classroom. Rules of the classroom. Keep in mind the rules of the classroom. Boom, chicka boom, let's follow the rules. Everybody deserves respect. Everyone deserves a turn. Treat others with respect, and they will do it too. Rules of the classroom. Rules of the classroom. Keep in mind the rules of the classroom. Boom, chicka boom, let's follow the rules. Losing track is so easily if you start to talk and play. Pay attention to instructions and you will do great. Rules of the classroom. Rules of the classroom. Keep in mind the rules of the classroom. Boom, chicka boom, let's follow the rules. When you want to talk in class, when you have something to say, interrupting's not polite. Raise your hand and wait to be called. Rules of the classroom. Rules of the classroom. Keep in mind the rules of the classroom. Boom, chicka boom, let's follow the rules. A clean room is nice to have. It depends on you. Pick up trash, hey, keep it neat. Help clean up. Respect and pay attention. Raise your hand and help clean up. Keep in mind the rules of the classroom. Boom, chicka boom, let's follow the rules.
In this video, you have seen that rules are communicated by classroom teacher. The rules communicated through this video are 4. First, show respect. Second, pay attention to instruction. Third, raise your hands if you want to speak. And 4, keep your classroom neat and clean. So these are only 4 rules that are communicated to students, but rules may be more than. So you have seen that there are many ways to communicate the rules instead of just displaying the rules written on the board. Good communication skills are very important to be a good communicator for teacher. Your expectations should be clear to students as well as classroom procedures. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Good communication is a key to become a great teacher. Your attitude should be positive, supportive, and encouraging for every student. Give constant feedback. Feedback may be oral or written. Similarly, there may be group feedback as well as individual feedback. So, teacher may use any type of feedback according to the nature of the subject and according to the grades of the students. And last, high energy. Communicate high energy through active participation. And don't forget to use simple humor. Today we have discussed about classroom management, the principles of classroom management. These principles include meet and greet, establishing order in the classroom, as well as establishing rules and expectations, preparedness of lesson, and be active facilitator as well as good communicator. So what do you think? Why students are not engaged? So why students are not engaged? There might be several reasons, but the four major reasons are these. Boring lecture. Energy needs to be high all the time to make your lesson interesting and interactive. Passion for your subject. There should be love of teaching, not just a job for earning. If something is boring to you, it will be boring for your students. Allow yourself to have fun. If you are enjoying the content, students will also enjoy. If a teacher is using the content that is not interesting, definitely students will not like it. So, how a teacher can make interesting content? First, teacher should learn about the topic. He or she should have command on the topic which is being taught. Read the topic in detail. Connect the topic with daily life experiences of students. And try to make the topic visual in the form of images and videos. Focus on practicality of topic. Tell stories, ask questions during the lesson, and throw them in some surprises in the form of floating the questions or any other surprise arranged by teacher. Lack of understanding. There might be several reasons of lack of understanding the lesson. It is possible that students are not interested in the subject being taught, or some of the distractions from outside. It might be diverting the attention of students. There could be any health issue with the student, and more generally the problems of life that student is facing. There are possible reasons for lack of control which we have discussed. Now we will discuss the methods how to control the classroom. During lesson, how a teacher can know whether students are learning or not. So, classroom assessment is a way to understand whether students are learning or not. They can help you to assess the degree to which students understand the course content, and they can provide you with information about the effectiveness of your teaching methods. So, what do you think? What is control? Control is a process to ensure that classroom lessons run smoothly without disruptive behavior. It is difficult aspect of teaching for many teachers. If there is proper control by the teacher, it enhances students' academic skills and competencies as well as their social and moral development. If classroom is controlled and organized rather than chaotic, it will be easy for teacher to control students as well. So, there are some other ways of controlling the students. Set up a reward system. It is a great way to maintain and regain control of the classroom. Another reason of losing control in classroom might be there is not good student relationship. So maintain good student teacher relationship. You can arrange and rearrange the seating arrangement. Another way is to sit back for a moment and see why this situation is occurring. Are the students not into the lesson? Is the lesson too long? Is the lesson boring? What is distracting the students? But be confident. Likewise, you may use examples to make your lesson interesting for controlling the classroom. These examples may be related from daily life experiences. So, use exemplification to make your lesson understandable and to get control of your class. Today, we have discussed the concept of classroom management. We discussed the principles of classroom management and the methods how to control the classroom. Research shows that classroom management is one of the critical ingredients of effective teaching. Teachers play various roles in classroom, but one of the most important role of teacher is of manager. Teacher is classroom manager. Effective teaching and learning cannot take place in a poorly managed classroom. Effective teachers affect students of all achievement levels. Effective teacher perform various functions. Some of these functions are making wise choices about the effective instructional teaching strategies, designing of the lesson to facilitate students' learning, and making effective use of classroom management techniques that are very important. If a teacher is ineffective, then progress of students become low. Classroom management is more than a quick fixed strategies or a bag of tricks. It is purposeful, philosophical, ethical, and theoretical code of conduct. The latest theories of classroom management are based on resilience, self-worth, which highlight the strength of the students have and how teacher can draw upon these strengths. If classroom management strategies are executed effectively, it minimizes the behavior that impede learning. Identify the best teacher you ever had. What is the one strategy the teacher used for classroom management? Do you remember any teacher that you like? There might be more than one teachers that are still in your memory. Think why you like that teacher. So think and note down the qualities of that teacher which you still remember. These are assessment questions. Describe the general principles of classroom management. We have discussed these principles in detail. As a teacher, what would be your classroom management techniques to avoid chaos? So you have to write your own teaching techniques to avoid chaos in classroom. This is also your assignment which you have to prepare. For any questions and queries, you can email me at kutsia.fatima@ue.edu.pk. Thank you.